All righty, we're back here tonight. Atlanta News First Sports Tonight. Fred Campagna, Fred Khalil, Fred and Fred back again.
Twice in a week.
How about that? I like it, though.
I like it, too.
All right, let's get going now. Let's get right to our first topic. Jalen Carter, we talked about him yesterday, but he had another bad day on the practice field there in Atlanta, or in Athens. But he also pled no contest today to the charges of racing, reckless driving, and all that. So, and he's going to get probation. So he really was fortunate in that respect to get out of it like that.
Right. Well, I think the idea was to move on as quickly as possible from the whole thing. I mean, his lawyer talked to Patrick Quinn, who interviewed him, said that emotionally he's still having a very difficult time, which is completely understandable. To have two friends lost like that, know that, while you weren't directly involved, according to the plea agreement,
the reports, right?
But you were there,
right?
Today the reports were, I don't know if it was his lawyer, if it was the police or whoever was saying it, was that even after they were like, you can leave, he stayed, he answered questions at the scene when it happened on that night. So
yeah, that would be very tough.
And I think that what happened at the pro day probably an indication of how it's affected him.
Yeah, I mean that. No doubt, I would think.
Still young guys. Everybody just wants to put them into this realm of professional athlete, which they're not yet. Georgia's about as high profile as a program as you can have, but these are still young people, making some really horrible mistakes, unfortunately, and finding out the consequences that come with those. And then to be mentioned as a number one pick and to be at the combine where he wasn't going to do much, right, at the combine?
Right.
But still, to have to come back, deal with the charges, then have the pro day that didn't go well. So hopefully from here.
Yeah, I mean, it has been very tough. I mean, you think about it. I mean, we're both dads, I mean, these kids they're kids still. I mean, Jalen Carter, maybe 21,
right?
Right in there. I mean,
so, I mean,
these are 20-year-old kids, 18, 19, 20, 21, right in there. I mean, that's.
Yeah, both dads and both, can think back to some dumb stuff that we did.
Yeah, of course. Yeah,
I feel very fortunate about some dumb stuff that I did at around that age.
Yeah.
So, and unfortunately, there are sometimes, really heavy consequences from your actions, and that's what the UJ football team, I think, found out a lot about over the course of this offseason. So the legal part of that is in the past.
Right.
And hopefully from here, Jalen.
We go on to the football part. Yeah,
right.
See what happens.
Right.
All right. Well, let's move on to our next topic.
Okay.
NCAA. Look at this. Early bracket busters. Man, oh man, we just had one. Arizona just went down, right, just a few minutes ago, and Virginia lost to Furman.
Yeah. You don't have my bracket in your paper.
I do not. I've got mine.
You just
mine. You can rip mine up too, man. The Purple Paladins, baby, from right up the road in Greenville, South Carolina.
Yes. Furman.
Take care of Virginia, 68-67 on a three-pointer with 2.4 seconds to go.
Yeah, and I'm sure a lot of fans have already seen the play.
Right.
You'll see it. It'll be in One Shining Moment, I'm sure, as well in a couple of weeks. Really bad loss for Virginia.
Yeah,
really bad loss. I did not watch, admittedly, a lot of the game, but the last sequence, how they lost that game, inexcusable, especially for a program like that.
Right. I mean, it's a big hit for the ACC.
Huge hit because they had the game won. They were up by a couple of points, or at least by a point, with the ball, waiting to get fouled in their own end of the court. Furman trapped, didn't foul right away, and the guy pulled a Jacoby Myers against the Las Vegas Raiders and just threw the ball up for grabs like he did in that football game, and it landed. I mean, it couldn't have worked out better for Furman. The guy had an open three.
Yeah.
It was a long three. It was an NBA three.
But
sure.
he was there, and
these guys can hit those.
Yeah, I mean,
and to have a wide open three from that situation, trapping a guy with 10 seconds left down his own end of the court to going to a wide open three is unbelievable. So terrible loss for UVA. But they do this. They've done it before, right?
Right, exactly. And then just a few moments ago, we had a very close game, right? Who escaped?
Yeah, so that was during the newscast.
Right.
So neither of us have really
I've not
seen
been able to see that.
exactly
Yeah.
what happened, but I do know that Arizona squandered another
Arizona
late,
got out, man. They got out of there, man. Just barely.
late lead. Not as late. Princeton did take the lead in the last minute or 2 minutes of this game, but Princeton, fundamentally sound always.
Right.
And low scoring game. And there you go, 2:15.
Hey, man, that really crushed my bracket, by
Yeah.
the way. I
Well,
had Arizona going. Arizona.
Right. So I had Arizona all the way to the Final Four.
I did too.
People, I don't know how many people care about
Yeah,
my
that's right,
bracket,
yeah.
but I had them in the Final Four because I did not want to put Alabama in the Final Four for
Yeah.
other reasons, and
for other reasons.
and
we
so
won't discuss.
I put Arizona in.
I did too.
I don't have my winner's still alive. That's about it though.
Yeah.
And I have a winner that a lot of people don't have.
Okay.
Marquette.
Marquette. Wow.
I mean, they're a 2 seed.
Wow,
Playing the Big East. I was
be-
a little Big East biased. With
Was
my
that
bracket.
1977? I think was their national championship.
Yep. And
Al
so
McGuire.
back in 2003 was the last time that they made it, I believe, with Dwayne Wade to the Final Four.
Tom Crean was the coach then.
Really?
That got him the Indiana job.
Wow.
Yeah.
And then Georgia and
Yeah. And then after
yeah,
that, yeah.
didn't work out so well.
Well, you got Dwayne Wade. You know, it's just proof you got to have players, right?
True, indeed. But yeah, so actually Marquette's really good. They're a good team. Big East, I think, is going to be tough this tournament. We'll see. Providence,
Alrighty.
Kentucky tomorrow should be interesting.
Providence. Oh yeah, that's your area, man. Right?
And yeah, no, that's my home state right there. So the Friars are kind of like, that's probably the biggest college sports team in
that
my
region?
area is
Yeah.
Providence college basketball.
Yeah, I would think
Yeah,
that would be huge. Yeah.
because there's
I
really
mean,
no
and
football.
that kind of encompasses Boston as well, right? A little bit.
Yeah, well, Boston, BC,
BC, right, yeah.
BC football
BU.
a little bit, but not really. BC basketball hasn't been anything good for
Right.
a while. So Providence, well, then UConn, of course, in stores.
UConn, that's right,
UConn
yeah.
women and the men are back now with Danny Hurley. So, but tomorrow, Kennesaw State as well. What do you think about that?
I don't think that Kennesaw State can pull it out. I think
Yeah.
X is probably too good. You know, Xavier, the Musketeers.
Yeah.
I mean, they've been a good program for a long, long time. I mean,
Mm-hmm.
they're really a good program, and they've been around.
Mm-hmm.
I just think they might just have too much for. I'd love to see Kennesaw State win,
Yeah.
no doubt. I'd love it. It'd be great, but I just don't know if they can do it.
Right. And I think that those are the teams that are hard to upset. Teams like Xavier that are tough, physical.
Right.
You know, and I saw Xavier play Providence. You know, I've seen Xavier play a little bit, so I haven't really been that in depth on Xavier, but they're always tough. They're always physical. They play defense. They're well coached. Those are the tough ones to upset.
Yeah, and it's going to be tough for Kennesaw State, but really, I hope that those young guys enjoy the moment.
Right.
Enjoy the moment. How cool is that?
Right.
Well, I mean, they're playing in Greensboro, right? They're playing in Greensboro, so that's the home. Used to be the home every year of the ACC tournament. Now it goes around and switches around. But
Right.
I mean, a great venue, a great atmosphere. They'll really enjoy it, and I'd love to see them come off with an upset. I don't think they can, but that'd be very, very cool.
Well, based on the way your bracket looks now,
it doesn't matter, right?
I'm taking Kennesaw money line.
Yeah, right. Exactly. The way my bracket is awful, right?
So you're saying no way? We'll go Kennesaw.
Let's go,
no,
go Kennesaw State. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's going to be. It'll be interesting, and that's the other thing too. While we're talking about brackets here, and this is going to be an old guy take, so you get two old guys on here.
Right. Yeah.
But it seemed to me to be a lot easier when I was in college 25, 30 years ago to kind of lay out your bracket, make it through the first round without these, there's so many upsets. Already we've had six, eight games maybe and two huge upsets just right off the bat.
Right off the bat, right.
So it seems like it's harder. The other thing I've noticed this year, Fred, there are some guys that are playing that are roughly my age after COVID and after the extra year and all that. I mean, I'm seeing some guys on the court that are mid-20s right now.
Right,
so that's interesting as well to see that. And you do have a few teams. I want to say, I'm trying to think of who. Maybe Drake. I'm not sure who exactly. Older teams. That makes a big difference.
It does. I mean, those guys aren't going to go any farther. So they're but in college they're good, and that makes an experienced team in the tournament.
Yeah. No, I think there's a big difference
that pays
between
dividends. Oh yeah,
20 and 24.
I was going to say 24.
Yeah,
Right.
it's just a big difference. The amount of basketball that they've played, the situations they've been in, their perspective on it. Guys tend to, fill out a little bit more, develop, physically a little bit better. So I think you could see some of these older, more experienced teams having pretty good runs. Probably should have checked as to who were the oldest, most experienced teams, and then loaded up a bracket with them.
We probably should have done a little more research, right?
They
just, hey, we need your bracket. Okay, there you go.
Right. That's pretty much how it went
exactly.
for me.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, I miss the days of the USA Today, right?
Here's a team that I want to see. I want to see Houston in this tournament. I want to see how far they're going to go.
Yeah, I got them going pretty far.
I do too. I've got them going. I've got Texas. Possibly not.
I got Texas going pretty far. I got Houston versus Texas. I got Texas
I do too.
winning.
Yeah, me too. Yeah. So I've got them in the Final Four. I've got them. I've got Texas beating Houston in the Elite Eight.
The reason why I have that is twofold, really. Texas has faced a lot of adversity this season with what happened with Chris Beard, and the team seemed kind of unfazed by it.
Right.
And they play defense. So defense travels,
defense
and that'd be crazy
yep.
because that would actually not be in Houston, right? Because that would be an Elite Eight. That'd be an Elite Eight matchup.
It would be an Elite Eight matchup,
right.
Exactly.
The Final Four is in Houston this year, right?
Correct. Yeah.
So we'll see.
It is, man. April 3rd is the championship game.
Yeah.
I've got Kansas in there as well. I mean, Kansas. That's going to be an interesting matchup.
Yeah, Kansas is another team that I've going pretty far as well. So, so much can change tonight. Watch Duke win it all, and then find out that Coach K was holding them back the whole time.
Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Right.
No, because he'll say those are my guys.
Exactly.
I was still
including the coach. The coach is his guy too, right? Yeah.
Exactly.
Everybody's his guy.
Everybody up there.
All right. Well, how about Bogey getting a big contract, man? Bogdan Bogdanović getting a huge deal, 4 years, $68 million. This is the guy that comes off the bench. Bogey does. He plays well.
It's a good contract. I think it's a good contract if he stays healthy, right? His problem has been health a lot over the last couple of years. So if he stays healthy, I think that's a good contract. There's not a lot of guys that can shoot like he can, and I think he's a good, floor spacing shooting guy. Probably going to be a defensive liability by the end of that, but haven't seen much defense really out of the Hawks lately anyway. So. I mean, he's a guy you lock up. I think for that to me, it's a middle of the road contract in the NBA. It's crazy to think, but
$17 million a year.
Yeah,
right?
well, I'm just thinking about Grant Williams, who's up for the Celtics for a contract, and he's probably going to get 17 or 20 million a year.
I mean that's good money.
That's
man.
That's like a seventh guy guy type of money. But I think it's good. I think it's good for the Hawks. You lock down a guy like that, you just got to hope he stays healthy. That's
all right.
That's the
so,
variable.
What's on your mind tonight?
Speaking of health.
Yeah. Speaking of health.
Yeah. World Baseball Classic.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
This is awful.
Yeah, it was
awful.
So Puerto Rico beats the DR, right? Which was, I'm sure, just an intense game.
Right.
But then there were clips on Twitter and whatever of the game itself. But the one that everybody's going to remember from the game was the celebration by Puerto Rico afterward, after Edwin Diaz, the closer for the Mets, got the final out, and they were doing that thing where everybody jumps.
Yeah, the jump.
At the same time. We won't demonstrate, but
no, we won't demonstrate. No, not at our age.
But anyway, they were
sure.
doing that, behind the mound, and somehow Diaz ended up tearing his patella tendon. Right? Isn't that what they said?
Yeah.
So out for the year. That's a big injury too.
And
it looks like it was the right leg. That's your push-off leg for a right-handed pitcher.
Right.
He's a bigger guy, so hopefully a full recovery there.
Yeah.
No trumpets in New York this year, right?
Right, exactly. When he comes out, that was a big thing when he played. He played it when they came out, right?
Right. Maybe they'll. Forget it. I was gonna say maybe they'll play taps.
Yeah. You're a track guy, right? So I mean, you like track.
Yeah.
Right. Distance runner, all this. How about Dick Fosbury passed away this week? He revolutionized the high jump.
Yeah.
The Fosbury flop. I mean, guys used to go over. I forgot what they called the regular way. I forgot what they called that. But the Fosbury flop, where you went shoulders and back first, and then you brought your legs up and over. Mm-hmm. Something that I could not do.
Yeah. But it's...
he won the gold at the '68 Olympics.
Right.
But he died this week.
Yeah.
I mean, so he had a degree in civil engineering. Did you know that?
I did not know that. Makes sense though.
Civil
with his,
engineering,
understanding physics and how
exactly.
mechanics work and to a degree how the body works.
How about that?
And I mean, it's to me that's the equivalent of the first guy who was like, no, don't shoot the basketball like this.
Right.
Shoot it like
that.
this.
Yeah.
But I don't think anybody can really point to the one person who said, don't shoot it underhand, shoot it overhand.
Right.
Everybody can point to Dick Fosbury and be like, this guy revolutionized the sport.
No doubt. I mean,
just was like, went from, you guys are doing it all wrong. This
exactly.
will allow you to jump higher. And everyone just being like,
yeah, right.
Oh.
And then he does it, you
yeah.
know?
Yeah.
I mean, you think about it. If you've been on a track team. I've been on a track team. You walk out and you see the high jump bar.
Yeah.
And when you're right there and then you see it and you think about it.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm under 6 feet. I'm under 6 feet, so it looks like that. Yeah. So then think about it 7 feet, you know?
It's incredible.
I mean, to see guys do that and go back first and then bring their legs up like that, you know? That is absolutely incredible.
Yeah, and a lot of these high jumpers, admittedly, like look, built like Kevin Durant.
Right,
They're
exactly.
very tall, very lean.
Yeah.
Long legs, and can really, powerful, incredibly powerful. It's I was never on a track team though, Fred.
I thought you were.
Told. No, I didn't really.
Man, you run. I mean, this dude runs like he runs a 10K in like 28 minutes, don't you?
Yeah, 28. Yeah, right.
Something like that, don't you?
Add
6
10
miles.
to that,
38. That's good though.
Yeah, well,
those are 6-minute miles. You're clipping them off.
Yeah.
At our age.
Yeah.
Your age. I mean,
that's
you're younger than me.
But that's just like the fastest. That's just the fastest. You reach a point where like.
Well, tell me about it, dude. I know. Yeah. You reach a point and then you hit the wall.
Yeah. So anyway, real quick though, back to Diaz. A lot of people are mad online about. This is what was going to happen with putting MLB players in the World Baseball Classic. It's a pointless tournament. It doesn't mean anything, this, that, the other. And the fans seem pretty into it.
Yeah,
Baseball fans in general, most of them seem to like it. And I don't know. Those are professional soccer players playing in the World Cup.
Right.
Those are professional basketball players playing in the Olympics.
Exactly.
Bad things can happen sometimes. Unfortunately, that's what happened this time. I guess Freddie Freeman had a little scare, right? He pulled a hammy or something, so he's all done with the World Baseball Classic. But I don't think it's something that's going to linger for that long. Not like this Diaz thing. It's crushing for the Mets. They did have a couple other relievers in the bullpen there, Robertson and somebody else, forget who else, a former closer, Zach Britton, I think. So they do have a couple of guys in their pen who might be able to close, but Diaz was one of the most dominating closers in the league last year.
Oh, yeah, without a doubt.
So, losing him is huge, but I don't think that it's grounds to say don't play the World Baseball Classic. Plus, I think because of COVID, Fred, this is the first time they're playing it in 6 years.
Has it been 6 years?
It's been 6 years. I
Has
didn't
it been
realize
6 years
that.
already?
It's been
Wow.
6 years since they last played it. And also, one more World Baseball Classic note before we get closer to going. Ohtani hit 102 on the gun yesterday. Wow. 102 miles an hour. I mean, to be able to throw 102 and then turn around and be such a good hitter.
Right.
He's incredible.
He is incredible athlete. I mean, I like that, because coming up, and I've had kids in baseball, so you see travel baseball, usually the pitcher is the best player, all around on the team, so you see a lot of guys like your shortstop, the catchers, those guys, they were pitchers on their travel team or their high school team or their college team, coming up. And a lot of, even in college now, like at Arizona State, I can remember.
Yeah, but you just can't. I mean, the pitching, the
level. You can't do it in the major leagues, but I'm just saying, though, but those are the guys that are good athletes, so it doesn't.
Yeah, but to be able to do it at that level is incredible.
Oh, what he's doing, it's nuts.
I was also just thinking, here we are. This might be the second best time of the year, sports-wise.
Not the best time?
I mean, October.
What's the second best time?
It's kind of hard to beat because I love football. College football. You got the World Series. You got basketball starting up, hockey starting up. But like right now, next 3 weeks we got March Madness. We got baseball is going to start after the World Baseball Classic ends. We have NFL free agency, which in itself has kind of become a little bit of a thing. NBA starting to get a little more serious as teams get closer to the playoffs, and then the Masters.
The Masters, that's right. We got the Masters coming up. That's going to be great. That's
it's
always
a good little run here.
A great little run.
And theoretically, the weather's getting better, but that's not really the case this right now. It's just getting colder.
Now, that's your department as well. So.
Right. Well, it was beautiful today. We snuck out a beauty today, but cold again over the weekend. So good March Madness watching weather.
Good March Madness watching weather.
Yeah.
You know, and it's a good time to be in, as you said, because you're going to have what? How many games do we have? 6 a day? 4 a day?
Oh, a ton. I mean,
yeah. I mean, you can switch around, but I mean, if you just want to watch them consecutively, it's what 1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Yeah, I don't know that I ever went to a class in college on this first Thursday or Friday.
I went to Indiana, so there's a good chance we did not. Yeah.
It was it was just always tried to stay ahead of things a little bit, and then you know what? I'm just gonna kick back and watch nothing but basketball for a couple of days.
Well, you went to a very strict educational school.
Well, I went to a couple. I spent a lot of time in college, Fred. So.
Yeah, but I'm saying though, I mean, Colorado, the University of Colorado, right?
No, not very strict.
I know that's what I'm saying.
Okay.
Yeah, it's not. That's what I mean.
No.
That's why you could probably go do whatever. I went to Indiana. Are you kidding me? I mean,
well, that's why I had to spend a lot of time in college because I was skipping class to go watch college basketball.
But we got the piece of paper, and that's all that counts.
Yeah, I got a couple of them.
Yeah.
Anyway. All right.
Well, hey, that's going to wrap it up. Thanks so much, Fred, for coming in.
Yep. We'll see.
Happy
Hopefully my
Thursday.
bracket can somehow be resurrected. You know what? I still think I'm in okay shape if Marquette wins it, but honestly, they're probably not going to.
No, I don't think so.
You got to pick somebody different, though, when you're in the pool. Don't want to have the same team as everybody else. Who do you have, by the way?
I've got Texas.
All right, there you go. I saw a few Longhorns.
I've got Texas in there. Why not? Yeah,
we shall see. All right, Fred.
All right, man. Thank you, Fred.
Yeah. Have a good weekend. See ya.